And see, this is my opinion right here. See, what you need to do is you need to go back to school and you need to get your life together and you need to hurry up and get married. And see, look, I'm just going to kick it to you real, man. This is what you need to be doing with your life because, see, if I was you, ain't no need for you to still be single and you this age and you that age and you ain't got this many kids and I can't believe you. And see, this is what I think you need to do. This is my opinion. This is who you supposed to be and this is what you're supposed to be doing. And see, this is what I need to do. I need to share with you my opinion about your situation because what I think you need to do is I think you need to do this. See, if I was you, I would, this is what I think about you, and this is how I feel about you. If you want to know what I really think, man, I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, when I look at you, I think this is what I think you need to do. No, you need to be doing that. See, you need to be this. You need to be doing this. See, this is what I think you need to do. This is, this is my opinion right here. This is my opinion. See, look here, child. I hear all of that, but this is my opinion right here. And see, this is what I need to do. I need to share with you my opinion about your situation because I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, because the truth be told.
That me though. That me though. I ain't got no problem with what you do. I'ma do me though. Yeah. I like chains on top of my chains for real, but that's me though.
So everyone has an opinion. I mean, that is just ironclad fact. Everyone has an opinion. People have opinions about all kinds of things. They have opinions about other people's lives and how they should live. They have opinions about world events and things that are taking place. I mean, people have opinions about all kinds of things. But there's an inherent danger in being opinionated. And I want to start by saying this. If you would ask me my opinion, but truthfully, if you would have asked me, what's the most dangerous thing? What is the biggest threat that is facing us as individuals? I know some people will say, well, the biggest threat that's facing us is terrorism, war, nuclear war. Biggest threat facing us is global warming or starvation. No. Actually, the biggest threat that's facing us as a human species, as human beings, is opinions. Yeah, opinions. And you're like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Let me explain what I mean by that. Wars and terrorism, they are based on ideologies or belief systems. Beliefs that are formed inside of people based on words, views, perspectives, and opinions. In other words, a man goes to somebody else and twists his mind up to make him think that by killing another person or killing a group of people or committing genocide that he's doing the right thing. Well, he is acting out of evil based on someone else's opinion. So words, they cause the world to go around. When we look and we see again wars are built upon opinions. You have world leaders and individuals that they engage in warfare based on someone's thoughts and someone's beliefs, based on some ideology that was developed by someone else and then spoon-fed to them. The next thing you know, here they are, they're going to war based on an ideology and a belief, which is based off of what? Someone's opinion. Or someone's opinions, So opinions, those are the things that really lay the foundation. And opinions, they are very dangerous. They can tear up homes, they can tear up lives. Opinions have been the major source for people losing their jobs, people getting canceled, people losing their careers, people losing their reputations, their livelihoods. Entire families have gone up in smoke, entire careers have gone up in smoke, and people have gotten fired. I mean, all kinds of things. I mean, fights have broken out, people have gotten murdered and killed and all kinds of things, all because of opinions. It could be an instigator that comes along and puts some whisper in somebody's ear and say something to them that's not true, and then they go and confront somebody else because of what they heard. Then the fight breaks out. Somebody gets shot and killed. Why? Opinions, words. Those things are dangerous. Those things are very dangerous. They can cause wars. They can cause conflict. And, like I say, opinions, they are a very big deal. So even when it comes down to, like the individual crimes, forget big wars and genocides, just look at everyday life. People that go and rob stores, commit murder, people that go and steal cars or break up families, sleeping with somebody else's spouse and things of that nature. Do you know that before a person can engage in these behaviors, they have to first convince themselves to do it? In other words, there's an internal dialogue that's taking place in their minds, in their hearts, and in their minds, where they are actively persuading themselves that, I can do this. And then they're sharing an opinion with themselves that if we do this, we can get away with it. There are no consequences for our actions. This is perfectly fine. You know what? There's a way that we can do this and not get caught. So oftentimes people engage in internal dialogue where they are now persuading themselves with opinions. That, oh, well, you know what? I deserve to have this. I know that doesn't belong to me, but I can take it because I'm entitled to it. You know what? They don't deserve that car. They don't deserve that husband, that wife. They don't deserve that. I should have that because I deserve it. I was wronged and society owes me a debt. So I'm just going to take, that's an opinion, right? Even elitists. That, oh, everyone else is beneath me, so I deserve to have luxuries that they don't deserve. I deserve to have rights that they don't deserve. I can fly around in my private jet and spit all of the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and eat all of the filet mignon, but everybody else, they got to get rid of their cars and farting fat cows, and they have to eat bug sandwiches, and they just have to ride bicycles to work every day. Why? Because I deserve more than, that's someone that's doing wrong based off of an opinion that they formulated. Opinions about themselves and opinions about others. Elitism and crimes, people persuade themselves. They convince themselves. And that goes right along with what the Bible says in the book of James, where James wrote, and he says, be a doer of the word and not a hearer only, deceiving yourselves. And that word deceiving in the Greek, it actually is translated as deluding yourself through false reasoning. That's right. Making yourself delusional, causing yourself to become delusional through false reasoning. In other words, you sit back and create these opinions about the situation, and then you feed them to yourself. You begin to believe your own mess. And next thing you know, you step out and do something crazy, and you end up suffering the consequences as a result thereof. So opinions, what people say to others and what people say to themselves, that matters. But the reason why an opinion is so dangerous is because the very definition of the word opinion, it means a view or judgment about a certain matter that is not based on facts or knowledge. Again, let me repeat that again. The definition of opinion. It is defined as a view or judgment about a situation or a certain matter that is not based on fact or knowledge. In other words, the dangerous thing about opinions is they oftentimes omit the facts, and they are not based on any type of knowledge or information or real research. It's just something that someone came out with off the top of their head, seemingly off the top of their head, and begin to just spew out there into the atmosphere as if it was the ironclad truth. And yet they have no knowledge or no information, no understanding of what's actually going on. And that's the reason why opinions are so dangerous, is because, again, they are not factual. So you ask the question then, where do opinions really come from? I mean, why do people formulate opinions to begin with? Well, the truth of the matter is opinions are formulated as a result of our individual perspectives, which are based on our personal experiences. So I will formulate an opinion about someone based on personal experiences that I've gone through and the way that I've interpreted those experiences. And oftentimes the interpretation of our experiences are very negative, especially if we are surrounded by people who have negative perceptions and perspectives also. So if you grew up in a household where, for example, parents that may have been racist towards one group of individuals, then your opinion about that entire group is going to be negative. Even if you haven't have had any negative experience with them, you will still have a negative opinion of them because of your surroundings. And then if you've had any kind of personal experiences, then that just adds more gasoline to the fire. So there's no facts, there's no information, there's no knowledge. It's just an idea, a view, and a judgment formed based on some personal experience or based on the influence of my community, the influences of those around me. That's how opinions oftentimes get formed. And it's very dangerous, again, because just because you went through an experience, you may interpret it one way, but your interpretation of that experience may be all wrong, may be completely wrong. For example, a child may get up and their parents divorce, and that child may perceive that situation as a direct a result of them. Well, my parents divorced because of me. My dad left because of me, or my mom left because of me. And then they turn around and they internalize that well, maybe if I had have done something, or maybe if I would have been better or whatever, then this person wouldn't have abandoned me. They wouldn't have. So that child ends up growing up with an interpretation of the events that is all wrong. That person probably left for a million other different reasons. They probably didn't even choose to leave. They might have been sent off to war or something, or had to go to another country to work just so that they could provide for their home. So it wasn't even a voluntary in a sense, but it wasn't I'm abandoning. No, it may have been out of necessity. But the way that child interprets it is totally different. So just because you've gone through an experience doesn't mean your interpretation of that experience is correct, is accurate. So I want to bring this up because there are 8 Bible verses that explains the dangers of opinions. Why we should be cautious of our opinions of others, our opinions of ourselves, why we should be careful before sharing an opinion. We need to make sure we know what we're talking about. And I want to just share these 8 quick Bible verses right quick that explains to you, and if you get this down, you will never allow your words to entangle you and get you in a world of hurt again. If you just get these 8 verses down and get this principle, you'll never let your words get you in trouble again. You want to know what those 8 verses are? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at it and dive in right quick. The first verse that I want to read, Proverbs chapter 18, verse number 13 tells us, spouting off before listening to the facts is both shameful and foolish. Did you see that? Spouting off, running off at the lip, sharing your opinion about a situation before listening to the facts? Well, it just paints you as a person who is ought to be ashamed, and it paints you as a fool. So be careful about that. Don't ever open your mouth and just start spouting off. The person that opens their mouth and talks first and they just share their opinion, that's oftentimes the one that always hang themselves with their own tongue. But you'll notice the wise people in the room, they sit back quiet. They don't talk so fast. They don't open their mouths and start sharing their opinions and views so quickly. But those individuals who are looking for attention and validation, those are the individuals who are so quick to want to share their thoughts and their opinions and what they feel. And they are super quick because they think this is an opportunity for me to score some brownie points for myself and prove my worth. But people that know who they are not so quick to share their opinion about things. They may take their time. You may not hear from them right away. They may tell you that, well, I'll share my opinion on the matter, just give me a little time. And then they're going to be very methodical and they're going to put a lot of thought into it. Why? Because rather than being foolish and spouting off without knowing the facts, they're going to make sure that they go and educate themselves first before they open their mouths. Let me say this because everyone, like I said before, everyone has an opinion. Everyone has this earnest desire to want to share their opinions. We all do. It's just something irresistible about sharing your opinion about a situation. And in fact, if you really want to make someone warm up to you and you want to win somebody over, ask them for their opinion. Ask them. You know why that's important? Because when you ask someone for their opinion, the hero instinct kicks in and they feel honored. The word honor means to give weight to. They feel like their words now have weight and matter to somebody. This is a beautiful technique to utilize in marriage, particularly when it comes to wives and their husbands. Rather than getting upset with your husband or trying to presume or nagging your husband, go and ask him his opinion, because if you ask him, well, baby, what is your opinion about this? What do you think about this? He starts feeling more like a man, like, wow, my wife actually looks up to me. Like she want to know what I think about this and what I think about that. Rather than trying to put words in his mouth and trying to talk over him or not letting him talk at all, ask him his opinion. Why? Because it makes him feel honored. And men live for that, in case you didn't know. So that's beautiful in that context. But even when it comes to sharing an opinion, the person who's sharing it needs to make sure that their words are grounded in truth and in wisdom. And you can't share your opinion in every setting, in every situation. So let me read the next one right here. Proverbs chapter 18, verse number 2. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion. So people can recognize when you're a fool because you're so quick to want to share your opinion. You're quicker to share your opinion about a situation than you are to listen and find out what's going on to that situation. So that characterizes you as a fool. And when you've been branded as a fool, you lose all credibility. Nobody wants to listen to you anymore. They sit back and say, oh boy, here we go again. The rumor mill is talking. Oh boy, we don't ever take anything they say seriously, because we know that anytime they open their mouth to talk, everything they spew out is just ridiculous. It lacks credibility, and they lack credibility. So we put them in a corner with the jesters. We call them the fools. So you don't want to get caught up in that situation of being the one that's first to speak, quickest to speak, because you feel like having an opinion is going to validate you and make you important. No, it may just ruin your name and your reputation and drive your stock down and cause people to brand you as a fool and say that don't ever listen to anything this person says because they don't have any substance. they just have ego and they just want people to hear how beautiful their voice sounds, but they ain't saying nothing. So Proverbs chapter 23, verse number 9, don't waste your breath on fools, for they will despise the wisest advice. So again, a person who is regarded as a fool, don't even waste your breath. Don't even share with them information. Don't share with them knowledge. Don't give them any kind of wisdom that you may have, because they won't value it. They don't care about it. All they care about is being heard. This is a big part of communication, because oftentimes marriages fall apart because one person is more concerned about being heard than they are listening to what the other person is saying. So when two people are engaged in an argument, oftentimes the fool is sitting back formulating their rebuttal to what the other person is saying, as opposed to listening intentionally to what they are saying, and furthermore listening to what they are not saying, trying to hear between the words. So the fool is easily offended because their ego is at the forefront, as opposed to them operating in wisdom. That's why the Bible tells us, be quick to listen, but be very slow to speak or respond, and very slow to get emotional or get angry. Why? Because you want to be like an investigator and listen to what they are saying, because if you listen to what they are saying, you can hear between the words and actually find out what the root source or cause of the problem is, and then be able to address that, the real issue that's at hand. But you can't do that if you're not practicing good listening. And in order to practice good listening, you have to understand, don't take it personal. People share opinions based on their own personal experiences. These are their demons that they are wrestling with. And those are demons that they were wrestling with before they even met you. And you are not responsible for expelling the demons that are running rampant in their minds. That's their responsibility. So, you know, you have to kind of give people that space, and don't be so offended because they have a negative opinion or whatever the case. You know, that's something that they have to deal with. It's not your responsibility. So don't take it personally because they are dealing with something. Don't take it personally. Don't get so quick to get angry and get all emotional. You know, just understand that, well, you know what, you have the right to draw boundaries. Now, there's some things that I will and will not allow you to say to me. That's a boundary. There are some lines that you will not cross with me, because I don't allow that kind of talk or that type of behavior. However, I'm not going to take it personal because you're acting all the fool or whatever. Those are your own demons, and you're going to have to learn how to wrestle with those and deal with those, because if you don't, then it can lead you to an even more disastrous situation. So let me read further again. It says, Proverbs chapter 17, verse 28, even a fool is thought wise if he keeps his mouth shut, and discerning if he holds his tongue. So if you want to look smart, be quiet. This is ancient wisdom coming straight from the book of Proverbs. If you want to look smart, be quiet. Shut up. Quit talking. Quit being the one that always want to share your opinion and tell people what you're thinking. Be quiet. People will assume that you are wiser than what you really are. You may be as dumb as a doorknob, but as long as you be quiet and you just, well, look, I'll just, I can share my opinion, but let me think about it a little. They'll automatically assume you are the smartest one in the room. Why? Because you're not the loudest one in the room. You're not the one trying to do all of the talking. So be quiet, shut up, and people will actually think you're smart. And that's a wise strategy right there, because people will even look at you and say, I wonder what so-and-so was thinking, because they hadn't said anything yet. So they must know something that the rest of us don't know. You know, hey, everybody else, be quiet. I want to hear what so-and-so say. All of that because you learn how to keep your mouth shut, and as opposed to trying to exert yourself and throw yourself out there only to make yourself look and sound like a fool. Okay, so here's another one right here. Proverbs chapter 25 verse 11 says, timely advice is lovely, like golden apples in a silver bucket. Timely advice. In other words, everyone wants to just give unsolicited advice. And that's very dangerous, that you want to get up and you just want to share with somebody your opinion in the situation and they didn't ask you for it, or it's the wrong time for you to share it. So you got to be very careful and be very methodical, and actually you just need to ask God for wisdom. Lord, when should I say this and how should I say it? Because the Bible declares that sweet words are like honey. In other words, it also tells us a word that is shared in a kind spirit, it diffuses tension. So we got to be careful of our timing and the way that we share certain things. It's not that you don't have the right to share how you feel, but how do you articulate it? Are you harsh? Are you aggressive? Are you coming in a very condescending, judgmental tone? Is your voice loud? Are you coming in a softer tone? Are you coming with more respect? In fact, here's a methodology that comes straight out of the book of Revelation in the 2nd and 3rd chapters, that every time Jesus addressed the churches, you notice he led first with a compliment before he shared a criticism. You know, are you coming first with criticism? And if you are always known as the critic, the one who's always sharing what's wrong, after a while people will tune you out, because in their eyes, you don't see any good in them. And if they continue to listen to you, then they will assume that they are the most jacked up and messed up people on the face of the planet. Their self-esteem will plummet as a result of just being around you. So they have to tune you out. So you don't want to be caught in that trap of being the person who was always criticizing, always pointing out what's wrong with it. Just there's something wrong with you. See, you don't want to get stuck there. Give a compliment. Give compliments. Show them that you see both the good as well as what could be improved in their lives, and then they'll be more apt to actually listen to you. So timely advice. Ask for the wisdom. Don't just go and say to your husband, baby, I want to talk to you because I got something I need to talk to you about it. And you know he's sitting there looking at the game. This is Super Bowl or this is the playoffs, and he is and you want to take that moment right then and there, or even worse, right there in front of the kids. Now look here, I need to confront. Oh no, Lord have mercy. Now you're definitely finna cause a serious problem, and you want to take it to the top. All the way to the top. Don't get on social media, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, and vent your dirty laundry out in front of the universe, telling everybody, and then think that your husband is going to be cool with that, because the only thing that's going to happen is he's going to build more resentment because he feels completely embarrassed and dishonored. So a timely word, the wisdom on when to share it and how to share it, and always keep everybody else out of your business. And if you have to involve a third party, bring in a counselor, not your mama, not your daddy, but bring in a professional that can actually, why? Because if you share that person's secrets or you defame them to your family, they will never trust you again, and they will feel betrayed and also feel the weight of embarrassment anytime they go around your family, because you put that tension out there by turning your family against them. So keep your family out and tell them, keep your opinions to yourselves. That's my spouse. You don't belong. Focus on your own. I know that's harsh, but it is what it is. All right. So here's another one right here. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse number 13. Better was a poor and wise youth than an old and foolish king who no longer knew how to take advice. There's some people that do get to a place in their lives where they were once wise and they were once coachable and teachable, but then they've grown hardened over time and they've actually strayed from the straight and narrow path, and now they don't know how to take advice. So we sometimes celebrate people for their contributions in their younger years, but we dread what they've become as they got older because they stopped learning how to learn. They stopped learning how to receive wise advice. They started getting hard and full of pride and arrogance and assuming that they don't need to listen and gain knowledge and information. They just get set in their ways. So you don't want to find yourself in that boat either. And here's another one right here, Proverbs chapter 29, verse 25. It is dangerous to be concerned with what others think about you, but if you trust the Lord, you are safe. And that's from the Good News translation. I like the way it translated it. It's dangerous to be concerned about what everybody else thinks about you. Why is that so dangerous? Because if that's your concern, that's your obsession, then you will be controlled by what everyone thinks about you. And the scary thing about that is if you are controlled by what everyone thinks about you, again, people will kind of, push you in every direction. They'll have you going here, they'll have you going there, they'll have you doing this, doing that, and you'll find yourself being split and ripped apart in a million different pieces because you're trying to please and appease everyone, which is literally impossible to do. And so this is very important for our understanding because, again, like I say, everyone has everyone has an opinion, because having an opinion and sharing your opinion, it makes you feel like the hero in the situation, like I have the answers. Even if you don't have the answers to your own problems, at least I got the answers to yours. I can tell you what to do about your situation. But again, the problem is this: you don't even know my situation. You don't even know what's going on. You are not directly involved, so you don't know all of the intricate details of what's actually taking place. You're only going off of what you see, but you have not peeled back the curtains to look deeper and find out what's actually happening, what was done, or what was really said. So you're just sharing an opinion about a situation which you know nothing about, and that's very, very dangerous. Very dangerous here because not only does it paint you as a fool, but it also puts you in a corner where, as I'm going to show you in a moment, you can end up actually bringing curses upon yourself. And that is also in the Bible as well. And let me share with you the very last verse right here about the dangers of opinion. And this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse number 21, one of my personal favorites right here. Do not pay attention to every word people say, or you may hear your servant cursing you. Don't be obsessed with what everyone thinks about you, because if you are, trust me, if you look for it, you will find it. If all you want to do is browse social media and look at all of the comments on your post to find out what everyone thinks about you, you're going to discover what everyone thinks about you. People will share, especially when they feel protected by anonymity. They will share their opinions. They will say some of the meanest and nastiest things about you. They will rip you to pieces because for whatever reason, it just gives people, those that are already miserable, it gives them great joy and delight inflicting pain on other people. Even psychological and emotional pain. They just enjoy it so much. It makes them feel empowered to make you feel crushed. So yes, you got to be very cautious about that, because many people are already hurt. And there's an old expression that hurt people will hurt people. And hurt people, one of the biggest ways that they end up inflicting hurt and abuse on others is through their words. So a lot of people, they have opinions. A lot of people have opinions about you. They have opinions about your life. They have opinions about what they think you should do. They have opinions about your relationship. They have opinions about, your career or whatever. Everybody has opinions. But the reality is this. Number one, you should not be concerned about what everyone's opinion is, because everyone tends to have an opinion only for their own personal gratification. It makes them feel empowered to be able to tell you what they think, even if what they think is not rooted and grounded in truth, facts, and knowledge. They just want to be able to say something just for the sake of saying something so that they could gratify them. So people love to share opinions, not because they're trying to help you, but they love to share opinions because it makes them feel gratified. So you got to be careful about going to your TikTok channel and asking everybody what they think about your relationship and your marriage, because those that are looking for some type of empowerment, they're going to share what they think. And they may even tell you to get up and leave and walk away from your own spouse. And then when you do walk away and you're sitting back on the next couple of TikTok videos crying and talking about, I'm so lonely, and then you go back to them, all they're going to do is talk about you some more and share their opinion and trash you again. And they sure ain't going to take you into their homes, because they don't care about you. They never did. They cared about themselves and the opportunity to feel empowered by speaking over somebody else's situation as if they were God Jr. or something of that nature. So you got to be careful looking for everybody else's validation when they themselves, they are on a quest for validation. And that's the next thing that you need to keep in mind, that oftentimes people share their opinions, and if you're not rooted and grounded in your own sense of identity and purpose and knowing who you are and who God created you to be, then you will find yourself turning to the blind for leadership and guidance. In other words, you're turning to people for validation who they themselves are seeking after validation. They are trying to find out who they are. You're looking to your parents. Some of us, we have great parents, but then some of us have grown up in environments where we were verbally, emotionally, and physically abused. And we are looking so much to those parents. Oh my God, I just wish they would love me. I wish they would just validate and affirm me. And yet your parents, they are still trying to figure out who they are. 60, 70, 80 years old, and they still trying to figure out life. So you're turning to the wrong source for guidance. You're turning to the wrong people for guidance. You're putting too much weight in everybody else's voice and their opinion. Now, you're supposed to honor, yes, your mother and your father, but you also keep in mind, they didn't create you. God did. And in my next video, I'm actually going to share with you the only opinion that should matter. The only opinion that should really matter to you.